Welcome back to Georgie Tech, and today we're going to dive into what is next for our Logic Ultra 85 FTP server and what is this guy sitting right next to us. So what should we do? So based on the first episode that we talked about, this guy here is running an FTP server. We do have it configured for an SMB to have, hopefully it's easier to stream music, but at the end of the day, I still find it that it's not as user friendly. So with the help of a TrueNas server, that could open up doors to potentially other different applications that we could use. So let's dive in and see what we could do with this guy. So this guy here is an Inspiron 570. This guy was super popular. It came with the AMD Athlon 2, which was a 2.9 gigahertz processor, and originally it came with 8 gigabytes of RAM and I believe about 500 gigabytes of storage at the time. We're gonna go ahead and kind of mix little things up and change things up a little bit here. For the motherboard itself, this guy is an M87A5R. Super reliable. I mean, even today, I was testing it the other day, it was still running like a champ, so I'm super excited for that. For sure, we're gonna go ahead and change that pace there. As far as our system drive, we're gonna be using a PNY 256 gigabyte solid state drive. These guys are super inexpensive. You can find it at Best Buy, pretty much anywhere. As far as our content drives, we're gonna go ahead and use a Seagate Skyhops. These are gonna be 4 terabytes a piece. We're gonna be configuring them in RAID as a mirror. And for the RAM itself, we're gonna actually keep the original ones. I was thinking of possibly upgrading, but we're gonna go ahead and just keep the original. These are the Nanya. I believe these are either Korean or from Taiwan. These are 4 gigabytes a piece, so we're gonna keep that 8 gigabyte RAM PC3 there. So now the plan for this guy in general, we're gonna go ahead and build this guy, configure it with TrueNas, give it a couple test runs here and there, and then once we are at that point, we are gonna go ahead and now customize this fully from the tower itself to the wiring that we have and potentially do something creative with cooling. Many of you might ask, maybe we should do some liquid cooling, but I think that might be a little bit extreme for what the system will actually do. Don't think that it's gonna go ahead, and especially with TrueNas has done a really great job on when it comes to power consumption. It is at a very minimum, as we see here that I have this guy here running for all of my media content. All of my movies are stored there, so I don't expect to do anything crazy with cooling, but we could get a little creative. But for sure, when it comes to wiring, we are gonna get as creative as possible. All right, so let's go ahead and start by removing the CPU fan. Let's replace this thermal paste because I don't even remember if this was ever replaced. And as we see, it's super crusty here. So yeah, we're definitely gonna go ahead and replace this guy with something fresh. The other thing that we're also gonna do is we're gonna be cleaning pretty much any dust to increase performance. One of the number one reasons why electronics start to fail or degrade in performance is because of dirtiness and stuff like that. So as we see here, we're gonna go ahead and clean that with some icy purple, removing the fan here off the heatsink because it is super and I mean super dusty, as we see here, just because we don't want that. We want to get the maximum airflow to be going, so we'll go ahead and clean that off, and also too on the fan. And as you see now, it is nice and clean, just like how we want it. So that's nice and perfect. Thank you. And let's go ahead and start off with the perfect amount of thermal paste. So don't criticize my work here, but we're doing our best to get this going. So getting back this guy installed. The other one that we're also going to be doing is we also have the CPU heatsink that we're going to replace and any other heatsinks on the motherboard that we're going to replace and add some new thermal paste, because if the CPU thermal paste was crusty, I'm sure everything else is also crusty. From here on, let's just go ahead and start putting everything back in the tower and get everything connected, ready to go. We are using a 350 watt power supply, which is the original that came with the tower here. So that's nice and going, and we'll connect pretty much everything. As you see here, now we have all the drives, everything going, and bada bing bada boom, we got TrueNas installed. Now keep in mind, if you want to learn how to install TrueNas, there are a lot of YouTube videos out there. It's super easy. I believe anyone could do. All right, so we're gonna keep this video nice and short for you guys today, but on next time we're gonna go ahead and start integrating a few more things into the project that we want to test before we can kind of do everything. Which the first one is gonna be this guy here, which is like an old little radio, something that you would give like for a gift or something like that, but it does have AM, FM, has this little antenna, has an auxiliary. And the other part that we're also going to want to do is try to integrate an Alexa into it and kind of test everything out. So one of the things as far as for this project is to kind of make everything a one-piece solution that is going to be a lot more than what the old FTP server was. So I'm super excited with a lot of the things. In episode 3, that's when we're gonna jump into customizing the actual unit itself. There is going to be a quick little surprise that we're going to be doing within episode 3, which I am super excited. I do have to wait for after Christmas, so if you guys don't see a video before Christmas, or then hopefully everyone has a Merry Christmas, and if it's the New Year's, have a New Year. But thank you guys for watching again. This was Georgie Tech, and we'll see you next time.